It Happened One Night, 1934, is a classic romantic comedy directed by Frank Capra and starring Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert. The film is one of the earliest screwball comedies and remains one of the most influential romantic films in cinema history. Plot summary. The film follows Ellie Andrews, a spoiled socialite who runs away from her controlling millionaire father after he disapproves of her marriage to a fortune-hunting aviator. While on the run, she meets Peter Warren, a down-on-his-luck newspaper reporter who sees her story as his big break. The two form an uneasy partnership as Peter agrees to help Ellie reach her husband in exchange for exclusive rights to her story. Along the way, they bicker, face comedic mishaps, and, inevitably, fall in love. Cast: Clark Gable as Peter Warren, Claudette Colbert as Ellie Andrews, Walter Connolly as Alexander Andrews, Roscoe Carnes as Oscar Shapley. In one scene, Clark Gable takes off his shirt, revealing he isn't wearing an undershirt. This reportedly led to a decline in undershirt sales across America, as men stopped wearing them to copy Gable's look. Some claim this was an urban legend, but it remains one of Hollywood's most famous myths. Colbert was reluctant to take the role and called the film the worst picture in the world during filming. She was shocked when she won the Oscar for Best Actress and even had to be rushed to the ceremony because she hadn't planned to attend. Clark Gable was a major star under contract with MGM, but the studio loaned him to Columbia Pictures as a punishment for being difficult. At the time, Columbia was considered a lower-tier studio, so this was seen as a demotion. Ironically, It Happened One Night became one of his biggest successes. The legendary scene where Ellie stops a car by flashing her leg wasn't originally in the script. She was hesitant to do it, but after being convinced, it became one of the film's most famous moments. The combination of a road trip, witty banter, and romance between two unlikely partners became a blueprint for many future romantic comedies. Movies like Roman Holiday, 1953, When Harry Met Sally, 1989, and The Proposal, 2009 owe a lot to It Happened One Night. The script was rejected by several top actresses, including Myrna Loy, Carole Lombard, and Constance Bennett. Even Robert Montgomery turned down the male lead. Both Gable and Colbert only took the roles reluctantly. The story was first considered for production as a silent film in the 1920s. However, after the rise of talkies, it was reworked into a dialogue-heavy screwball comedy. The famous scene where Peter and Ellie sleep in the same room but are separated by a blanket hanging from a rope was created to comply with Hollywood's censorship rules. The phrase "the walls of Jericho" is a biblical reference, and the final scene implies that they fall after the couple marries. Columbia Pictures rushed the movie into production to fill its schedule, and the studio heads didn't expect much from it. However, after it became a box office hit, Columbia gained prestige in Hollywood. The film became the first ever to win the Big Five Oscars: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay. This was a rare feat, later matched only by One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, 1975 and The Silence of the Lambs, 1991.
Can't you get it through your head that King Wesley and I are married? Definitely, legally, actually married.
But you married him only because I told you not to.
You've been telling me what not to do ever since I can remember.
Budget. The film had a modest production budget of around $325,000, which was relatively low for a major Hollywood film at the time. Box office gross. It grossed approximately $2.5 million domestically and up to $4 million worldwide, a significant success for a film with such a modest budget.
Oh, so you're changing your tune, eh?
Positive reviews. Clark Gable and Claudette Colbert's performances were widely lauded. Their playful, witty banter and the chemistry between them were central to the film's success. Many considered their pairing a classic example of screwball comedy. Reviewers highlighted the film's charm, humor, and relatability. The story of two opposites falling in love on a road trip was described as delightful and heartwarming, appealing to audiences even beyond its release era. Director Frank Capra and screenwriter Robert Riskin received praise for creating a seamless blend of romance, humor, and satire. Their work was seen as a breakthrough in the romantic comedy genre.
If you're nursing any silly notion that I'm interested in you, forget it. You're just a headline to me.
Oh, I hope she's all right, sir. Of course she's all right. What could happen to her?
Negative reviews.
It's a long, sweeping mover.
A few critics thought the plot was overly contrived or unrealistic, especially the idea of a wealthy socialite and a down-and-out reporter having an instant connection. A couple of reviewers felt the film occasionally dragged in places and that the humor relied too much on situational comedy rather than more sophisticated dialogue or character development. Though It Happened One Night received mostly positive reviews and was a massive success, these critiques focused on its predictable storyline and moments of exaggerated comedy. However, its charm and performances ultimately overcame any of those minor criticisms.